Okay, well here we are at the Lee Valley Whitewater Stadium with 100 days to go until the opening ceremony of the London Olympic Games. And we've witnessed some outstanding performances here this weekend from our athletes in canoe slalom. There's been some drama as well, but through that process, 3 races, 3 days, very, very challenging schedule for the athletes. We've got ourselves our nominations for our Olympic team. So looking at the performances, David Florence, our silver medalist from Beijing, winning all 3 races in C1. Dave will get the nomination. In the men's kayak, Richard Hounslow, again winning all 3 races and some outstanding performances. In the women's kayak, Lizzie Neve, puts down some storming performances in the first 2 races. She really laid it out there, and then again in the 3rd race she's taken the win. And then finally in the C2, the men's C2, I think we witnessed some of the best C2 paddling that I believe that we've ever seen in the UK here this weekend on what is a technically challenging and demanding course. So we have David Florence and Richard Hounslow, the double-up athletes. They've won. They won 2 races, and Tim Bailey and Etienne Stort, they won 1 race and second in the other 2. But what that actually means for us, that's an outstanding Olympic team we have from the canoe slalom athletes. But it means that we can enter in the Olympic competition by virtue of the fact that David and Richard are doing the singles events. We can enter 2 C2s in the Olympic competition, and 2 C2s that, in my opinion, are capable of the podium in any international race. As well as the trials here, selection trials at Lee Valley on the same weekend, which has been a bit of a challenge for myself. But up in Nottingham yesterday, what we actually seen was the first athletes from sprint to gain their nominations for the Olympic Games. That's Ed McKeever in the K1 200 metre, stormed down the course in pretty average conditions, I would say, wind and weather, broke the course record, in a fantastic performance. So Ed will get nominated to the BOA for Team GB. And then in the K2 200, Liam Heath and Johnny Schofield, again, stormer of a race, and well done to those 3 athletes. They have been our most consistent athletes in their events, their Olympic events over the last 3 years, winning World Championship and European Championship medals, so well done to them. What we also seen yesterday was in the men's K1 1000 event, we've seen Tim Brabants, the Olympic champion from 2008. Tim went head to head with Paul Wycherley, who competed for us at the World Championships last year in the 1000. And that was a fantastic, it was a duel almost going on there in that race between those 2 athletes. Tim took the win by 3/100ths of a second on the line. It doesn't get much closer than that over a kilometre of racing. However, that's the first race, and that race will then go to a second opportunity in Poznan in 3.5 weeks. And if need be, if we need a 3rd race, we'll go to Duisburg in Germany the weekend after at World Cup races. So there's a lot to play for there. We also seen yesterday our women's kayak team in sprint taking to the water and putting in some really good performances in the first regatta. All our athletes have prepared well this winter. And look at our women's kayak team. We've got 6 athletes there, absolutely capable of working at a world sort of Olympic final level. And we've got an opportunity to qualify some more places in Poznan. It's a 2nd round Olympic qualification for sprint in 3 weeks, so we'll certainly be sending athletes there to try and pick up some more Olympic places. So thinking about other boats in the sprint setup, we've got our canoe athletes. So Richard Jeffries in the C1 200 be going to Poznan, and Matt Lawrence in the C1 1000 metres also going to Poznan. And I guess the final event from yesterday would have been the men's K2 1000 metres event. An opportunity to qualify 2 athlete places there, and that's Johnny Boyton and Ed Rutherford. So, it's been an incredible weekend actually. There's been some highs and also some lows. There's been some disappointments for athletes, talented athletes. because the field is just so narrow in terms of the canoeing places at the Olympic Games. In canoe slalom, you know, typically one boat per event at the Olympic Games, 5 athletes in the team, and we've had upwards of 70 athletes competing here this weekend. But for me, at the end of the trials, we have absolutely got an absolutely outstanding Olympic team going forward.